Who knew?
Good morning, love.
Okay.
Hey, Brian.
Hi, guys. This is
And
my
I'm
Papa.
bright
Say hi.
orange. Love it.
Oh, Dan Noel. Howdy, buddy.
Ashley Lunn.
Hi, Ash. Hey,
You-
hey.
If you two don't know each other, you need to know each other. Brian and Dan.
Hey, Ryan. I'm Dan.
Hey, I'm Brian. Hey.
We know each other.
Oh,
Oh, that's my buddy from yesterday, huh? Dan, I'm sorry. Oh, no, it's the other night. I'm going to ask you a question. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. This is my brain thinking out loud. No. Sorry, guys.
connect later.
Yeah.
All right, Jodee.
This is kind of how it goes on Fridays, Ashley.
Yeah, this is exactly how it goes.
Yeah.
So we have the opportunity, we take the opportunity almost every Friday morning at 7 to just kind of talk through what we're going through on a higher spiritual level, I think. This is how I would describe it. Years ago, we read a book called Spiritual Partnership and decided that we were Oh, you got it. Y'all should get that book. Jodee is one of my spiritual partners. And so we have agreed to call each other on our shit.
We don't have much of that
No, little bit.
anymore.
And push each other to grow pretty constantly. And I know for me, we're both experiencing this shift, this moment in time in a different way and with different challenges. However, being able to get her higher perspective helps me a lot. So she asked if we can make this conversational, which is totally cool with me. But would you kind of just give everybody some background to who you are, what you do?
Yeah. Well, good question, because I'm still trying to figure that out, especially in this weird place we find ourselves. But my history, the way I connected with you, Ashley, and everybody, a lot of people on this call, I was a team leader at Keller Williams in North Dakota for 3 years, from 2011 to 2014. And that's where I got connected to this amazing company that most of you are familiar with. I got a chance to come out to San Diego. I've been out there a couple times to your market center, and I taught 6 personal perspectives in 2015. And that was in your other market center. I mean, you've moved now to a new one since I was there, but then I did come back and saw that one as well. I was recruited to be a team leader at Keller Williams, not because I have real estate experience, but because I had a coaching business. And at the time, I thought that would work. And when I met Ashley, it was in 2000, either 11 or 12, Ashley, I can't remember, because you spoke on stage at Family Reunion about your experience.
Mega Camp.
Was it Mega Camp? Okay.
Yeah, Champions.
Coming not from real estate, but from mortgage, and coming from, a different place to be a team leader. And I went, oh my gosh, it's possible. Because I was struggling, you guys. I was struggling because, well, I know a lot about coaching and I know a lot about people. I did not have the background in real estate, and I thought it would be easier than it was. And I saw Ashley on stage and I went, okay, whoever that is, I got to know her, because I loved her story. And so I'm serious. You just walked through Champions. I don't even think it was random. Do you remember that? Of course you remember that, because we've talked about it a lot. And I just stopped you and I said, I need to know you. And you were like a star on stage, and I'm this little peon, nobody. Well, this is who I was then, right? I'm like trying desperately to make it. And you stopped and talked to me. And I went, what? This superstar is talking to me? And we were friends ever since. And boy, Ashley, I tell you what, you keep me sane. You kept me sane through my Keller Williams experience.
That is so questionable.
Well, thank you. From you or from me, probably both of us. But I left Keller Williams not necessarily because it was my idea. Let's just put it that way. It came to the point at which my lack of real estate experience made a difference, at least in my market center. And so I took that year after I left in 2014 to travel the country. I went really seriously from San Diego to Connecticut, teaching 6 personal perspectives. And I got to be in so many market centers and meet so many amazing people. And if you haven't taken that class or don't know much about that, that is a transformational course. At least it was for me, right up there with like Quantum Leap and some of those other amazing courses. And so Ashley has remained my one of my best friends, my spiritual partner. And as she said, we just call each other on our shit, and we work things out in public with each other, which allows me, and I'll speak from my perspective, Ashley, to be a better human being.
Oh, for
And,
sure.
you do that for me. And you guys, if you don't, well, you all know her really, really well. Is that your spiritual partner, Nikki? I love that. Whoever that is, it's great.
That's Nikki.
That's herself. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I I'm still working things out, Ashley. You'll find out when we talk later. I'm rebranding. I'm figuring it out. I'm a coach, consultant, trainer, speaker, but none of those make sense anymore right now. I'm becoming a different type of leader in this shift, where I used to be afraid to speak about what I'm now calling wholehearted, heart-centered leadership, because it felt too squishy. And one of my former bosses said to me, Jodee, what you do is touchy-feely crap that makes me puke. And I had to rethink my whole existence. And so I'm in that space again, because I feel like I can't not speak about spirituality and business together, Ashley. And it's become...
I don't think we can any longer.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this morning, I'm writing every morning because there's so many layers of emotion that I need to get through before I start my actual work day. And I was thinking this morning, because I had my breakdown, which is why we couldn't talk last Friday. I had my breakdown really Thursday through Easter. It was not a good 4-day period for me internally. Mm-hmm. And I think the universe has created this pause for all of us, probably so we can go where I just got to this morning, which is, if I strip away first of all, if I list all the titles of who I am, right? Because our identity is often defined by a title or something we do. If I strip all that away, who am I really? Why am I really here? And in our crazy day-to-day reality, when we have to respond to all the exterior stuff going on, I don't think we get enough time to really ask that question in a meaningful way. And it's a little scary at 44, or I won't say how old you are.
Yes.
To do that and realize that all those titles, all that identity really is superficial and somewhat meaninless. If I was no longer a business owner, if I was no longer a coach, if I was no longer a speaker, who am I? That's where I'm at right now. And I'm actually, Mark helped me kind of get there yesterday in his talk.
That was so great, by the way. That was so great.
So good. Because at the end of the day, we can get drawn far off of our actual spiritual path and not even realize it. And what a blessing that one time in all of our lifetimes, God said, stop, go reassess.
Yeah.
You really go in the right places.
So what I'm working on the languaging of it. I'm an English major, so I love language. And the language of it right now, to me today, feels like I'm more committed to the who than to the do, right? So I'm working with the who behind the do. So I don't really care what you do. Not that I don't care, but I'm not as concerned about whether you're a real estate agent or a mortgage person or a manufacturing person or any of that stuff, because I care about you as a who. And so I've been studying leadership and self-deception.
One of my favorite books.
Yeah, and I've been doing some pop-in half-hour overviews of that concept to different groups right now. So it's been really fun because we're in this Zoom quarantine, and I go into Zoom rooms and I share a half hour of this whole concept of treating people as people, not as objects. And I think what happens, to your point, Ashley, when we get stuck in that doing of our lives, we forget that people are people. Because that whole concept is there are two ways of being in the world. You can be responsive or you can be reactive. No, what is it? Resistant. You can be responsive or you can be resistant. And when we treat other people as objects that either get in our way or that we can use to get ahead, which is what happens sometimes when we get stuck in the doing of our lives, we then start getting into that place of self-deception.
Yeah.
one of the things that I learned, this is kind of new to me. So I think I've told you, Ashley, I can't remember, but when you guys think about building a structure, when you build a structure, let's say a shed in your backyard, and you have to put it on even ground, you have to have it, make sure it's level so that when you build it, it's not wonky. And when you build it on this level ground, you have to make sure you get out your level and your bubble and make sure it's level. And then you build the walls, using 90-degree angles. What's another word for a 90-degree angle if you go back to your geometry? Do you remember?
I never asked.
Well, they're called right angles.
Ah.
So you build with right angles because they're right, in building, that's the right thing to do. And if your angles on your shed get a little bit wonky, you know what they call that? They call that getting out of true. And when your angles go out of true, when you're building something, they say you have to justify those angles. And I went, oh my gosh, just think about that in our lives. The only time we ever have to feel like we have to justify something we've decided on is when we go out of true.
Mm-hmm.
So there really should be no reason to justify anything we're doing when it comes from that place of treating people as people. So just think, where have you ever felt like you have to justify something, Jodee? I ask myself, Ashley, you help me with this every Friday. And man, that's been such a great reminder to me. And that's why I love touching base with you every week, because you bring me back to that place.
The other theme we talk about a lot, and I, again, in this pause, think it's an interesting concept. A lot of us want to wait around for permission to do something, right? And asking permission, expecting permission from something exterior to do what you are intended to do. And the pause is allowing me to see I need permission from nowhere.
Oh, golly, yeah.
From nowhere. The only obligation I have is to speak and do my truth. Get in touch with it first, but then live that.
Well, and it's been so easy, I think. I'll speak for you for a second. It's been easy for you to see what I'm not doing, or, because you're coming at it from a different angle, and I do the same thing for you. And when you have somebody like that, you trust with your life implicitly to tell you the shit that she's seeing in you. I mean, man, you've never needed permission. I've never needed permission, but sometimes I need you to tell me and remind me that I don't need permission.
Right.
Yep. Right. Because when I get stuck in my own story and I get into that space of, but he said, but, and you go, Jodee, is that true? Jodee, come back. And it's so, it's, you guys, if you don't have somebody like that in your life, I'm going to say that right now is the time to start looking for that. And I bet everybody wants to be that for somebody else, and everybody wants that with somebody else. And everybody, I don't know, Ashley, do you think this is true too? People are looking right now for something to believe in.
100%. They're looking for hope and something to believe in. And that's coupled also with crisis. And there's many different levels of crisis going on right now. Reveals character more than anything else ever will. So I know for me, I've been challenged, and I will not go into specifics, but I've been challenged this last month with figuring out who some people are because they've been revealed and going, oh, wow, okay. Now I have to readjust to that because part of my reality wasn't real. And that's okay. At least now I get to deal with the real.
Ooh, that's a good one. Deal with the real. We should write that down. Deal with the real. This is how, you guys, it's like
parts of my character too. I'm going, oh, okay, that's a trigger point.
Yeah.
Gail and I were talking the other day about, we're just not designed to be, I'm not designed to be this alone, like physically alone. It's odd. It's very odd. And I didn't realize how, even just going into the market center, even though I know a lot of you realize I hole up in my office, I still pass people, and high five or give a hug here and there. And that, wow, it's an adjustment. It goes back to that definition of who am I? Who am I in the absence of all the people that are important to me?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that doesn't have to be scary, although it can be when you haven't faced it before. Right. Sure. So the scary is the unknown, as you said. Yeah. Yet with your help, I mean, I think about this spiritual partnership book. It's a lot less scary because you know you're not in it alone. You know, no matter what. I mean, you live in California, I live in North Dakota, and that doesn't matter. It never has mattered for us, I don't think, at least in our friendship.
No, it hasn't. It's the only thing I question your intelligence about, but it's okay.
Wait, because I live here. Okay? So
I used to live there.
well, my mom's in a nursing home right now, you guys, and she is, not going to be here forever. And so when that is not the case, I will probably not be living in North Dakota. Because Nikki, look at what she's wearing right now. Oh my gosh, I am bundled up because it's freezing here. So I want to be in hardcore. I want to be somebody who wants to wear that, because right now I'm not somebody who wants to wear that, but that would be fun. So Ashley, can I just read?
Valerie Crowell she commented on here, and I want to give voice to it because it's so funny. There's, I mentioned to somebody this morning, thank God I don't have children. And for those of you who are dealing with kids at home with everything else going on, God bless you. God bless you. I don't know how you do it. But on the other end of that spectrum is being completely alone with nobody else actually in your physical space. Val, at least you've got some great dogs. But take that one step further. What if you had no pets? I mean, you literally just hold up with your own craziness. Chris Spade. Yep. And my friend Diana often says, your brain, your mind is a very crazy place to be by yourself. And I know I've recognized that in myself in the last month.
Yep.
And so if you are, you may be zoomed out, but certainly pick up the phone and connect with another human who can give you a check on some of the crazy crap that goes on.
Yes. And I love, Nikki says crisis creates character. Well, you know what? Crisis reveals character. It's kind of like what Wayne Dyer says about when you squeeze an orange, what comes out of it?
Orange juice.
Well, yeah, that would make sense, right? Because it doesn't have apple juice in it. What comes out is what's inside. And often we don't know what's inside of us till we're squeezed. And then what comes out, whoa.
How many of you have snapped in the last week? No.
And so Brian's like, a lot. No. It's like, I don't know. This is going to sound really disgusting, but I've been watching Dr. Pimple Popper.
Oh, Jodee.
I know. But consider that when you get these like big bumps on your shoulder, and you gotta get the junk out. If you watch,
I have to like really mute this. I have to.
Well, okay. So the metaphor is just you got to get the junk out, right? I mean, at some point, the earth needed to get the junk out. I know, Val. I know it's gaggy. It is gaggy, but the earth needed to get the junk out, right? We needed this reset. And if you look at, everything is settling. And in the earth and in the world, I think settling is good for us. I don't want to settle for things, but right now I think we need to just.
Yeah, let's call it breathe into it.
Breathe.
Right? Breathe into it.
Yeah. So think about, disgusting, I know, but getting all the junk out, getting everything out that needed to get out. And I don't know about you, Ashley, but I feel braver about talking about things that matter.
Well, I think everything else is being removed.
Yeah.
Depending on how long we're here and how many of us collectively as a planet take the internal journey, I think the layers of things that are irrelevant are just being pulled away and will continue to be. And I think it does actually take some courage to go there. Because again, if you're 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old and you've not ever gone on an internal journey, unless you're watching Tiger whatever or Pimple Pop or whatever, I mean, there's going to be some internal journey going on. There's only so much stuffing and avoiding that we can do before we just have to come to terms with who are we.
Yeah. Well, I read a lot. I can show you. I mean, I'm really goofy about reading, and so I think about what Byron Katie has said, "Loving What Is," and she says that if you take a prisoner who's like been in jail and you put him in solitary confinement, they'll go crazy because they believe their thoughts. But if you take a Zen master and put him in solitary confinement, they'll be like in bliss. Because what are we believing? What are we believing when we're in forced isolation or forced solitude? And our beliefs don't have to be true. I mean, maybe we're believing stupid things like you're not good enough or you're stupid or whatever. Those limiting beliefs, those untrue core beliefs that are below the surface, the subconscious, they're probably not true, you guys, especially if they're negative. So what are we believing about ourselves? This is a time to shake that out. And I'm
going to plug a book right now that I started to reread this weekend. And it can be very challenging because it is about the internal journey, but it's called The Invitation.
Mm-hmm.
I'll post a link in the comments because the author's name is very odd. It's Oriah Mountain something.
Dreamer.
Mountain Dreamer, yeah. It's such a powerful book to help you on that internal spiritual journey. And it's a challenge. And if we're going to take this period of time, and we haven't gone there before, it's good to have some tools to help you take those first steps. Is there a book you would suggest, Jodee?
For this time and place right now, I have lots. I can get philosophical about it and internal about it, but one that Orbiting the Giant Hairball.
You gave me that one. Thank you.
I love this book so much. Orbiting the Giant Hairball. And the premise of it is every organization, no matter what it is, how fun it is and great it is, has the potential to become a giant hairball where rules, regulations, policies, procedures, the way we've always done it, become like hairs that grab us. And we find ourselves, sucked into the gravity of the hairball. And the most creative people in hairball situations will leave and say, screw that, I'm not going to be part of that. And so then we lose creativity because people leave, or they get sucked in and they lose their creativity because they're sucked in, they're selling their soul for health insurance. So we have to learn how to orbit the giant hairball so we don't get so close we're sucked in, but we don't get so far away we leave. And this book is so good for so many reasons. So right now I've been kind of referring to that one a lot. It's a little bit lighter, but there's still some depth to it. So if you give me any other thing you want to talk about, I'll tell you a book because I've read everything.
Yes, you will. We've got a couple that were posted here, or at least one. Debbie says, Loving What Is a great book.
That's Byron Katie. Yes.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. And somebody's telling us that we should be watching 90 Day Fiance instead of Dr. Pimple Popper. So, okay. I haven't watched that one, but okay.
We did decide this last weekend to have a little TV escapism, so we started Ozark, which is unbelievable.
Good. I haven't watched that one yet, but good. I talked to somebody. What is that? Remembering the Light Within. Ooh, that sounds good. Okay, those are good. I put that in the chat, will you, Brian? Or somebody put that in the chat.
I'll put it in there now.
Okay. I was on a meeting before this, and I popped in to talk about leadership and self-deception, which, by the way, is another really, really good one. That's got some personal development stuff in it. But we were talking about doing a movie night. And one guy was saying he has 2 pieces of software that help you do that. So if you wanted to do everybody watch a movie, there's a way to do that, especially if the movie's on a DVD. Because right now, who has DVD players anymore? So I have an external DVD drive. I have an external DVD drive that I can watch on my computer, and you can actually like watch a movie with people and then talk about it. And so The one we're going to do is called The Peaceful Warrior. The Peaceful Warrior. And if you haven't, Valerie, you've seen it? So good. And the one thing we were talking about from that movie was sometimes the people who are the hardest to love are the ones who need it the most.
I think that's probably always the truth.
Mm-hmm. And when they are challenging you the most, they are just crying for love. So we can get political for a second because everything's polarizing right now. Everything is so polarizing. And when people show up in craziness, it's probably because they're crying out for love. They just haven't had that opportunity. And so I'm trying my best to see things from that higher perspective and send love in spite of the crazy.
I'm going to plug another one on here. Some of you are familiar with Matt Townsend, and I had reached out to him to see if he would do one of these. And so far, we haven't been able to figure it out. However, I would highly encourage, since a lot of the calls I've had have been about people spending too much time together and having to have boundaries around that. Pick up the book Starve Stuff, STARVED. It's an acronym that Matt uses in his relationship counseling. And that's where the first time I heard hurt people hurt people. And he goes through that acronym on what we all need to feel safe and secure and valued and appreciated, and helps you kind of diagnose, all right, if I've got a starved relationship, here's what I could do to feed it so that we can get back to center. And what a great time. Our closest relationships are probably showing up bigger and more important than they ever have.
Well, and when you say that again, you said get back to center. I have a friend who calls it go to neutral. So if you're driving in your car, just get to neutral. All we got to do is get to neutral, because from neutral we can go in, the direction we want to go. So that's good.
Robert, why don't you chime in there? Because you and I have had that conversation too. And I think other than typing it, speak to it for a second.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was in the process of fielding some text messages as well.
Multitasking is a myth.
And he's a guy. Guys can't do that. What?
Oh, totally not. What exactly was the question? I want to make sure.
No, I'm just reading what you typed in the Zoom chat, that this is a moment of evolution.
Yes.
Which was fun to hear Mark talk about his book yesterday, Called to Evolve. It absolutely is. If we actually, whether or not we choose it, I think it's going to happen. We can choose to be a catalyst within it or resist it.
So,
and you said it's not pretty whenever we evolve.
Well, like you, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday was the worst for me. You and I were communicating a little bit. I knew you were going through it. I went through it. And I had my breakdown on Sunday, I believe. And I have a very good spiritual advisor that I followed for about a year now. And she is just a true visionary. And she speaks to where we're at this moment in time. And there's universal forces and planets, etc. I won't go into. But during that period where we're shifting into this new transformation and new collective consciousness, we're breaking down every old system that has not worked for 100 years. We've entered when the 2000, that's much more of a feminine age. So women coming into power, not women, but femininity. We were so male dominated for centuries. And those systems aren't working. The government's not working. The healthcare is not working. All those systems are literally broken.
Well, and there's people who are made wealthy by those systems that are going to cling on to them, which makes this. Anytime you break down old systems, there's going to be people who want to keep them.
Yes.
Which is one of the reasons we feel so.
And she said that we need to practice detachment. We're detached to our car, our jobs, our homes, our events we go to. You have to detach from that and be willing to let that go, because the more you hold on to it, the harder you're going to have during this period of evolution as you move into a new age. And that's where it's like, oh, light bulb, yes. Okay, it's not going to look pretty. Just move into it and be able to be open to what is coming on the other side. And when you and I went through 2008, all those lessons we learned during that period is helping me today, thinking in advance about what we did back then, do a little bit quicker now.
Without a doubt. I was actually talking to Mo last week, and she'll be here next week, about all the painful, hard, excruciating experiences that we've gone through 2008, 9, the last 2 years, whatever, wherever you've had your biggest challenges, to a certain extent have prepared us for this. And for those people who weren't professionals yet, either in real estate or really any other industry, this is their first time through that. And so the self-care piece of this to me is really important, because we need to be able to be there to hold the space for the millennials who are, you talk about people who want to be in charge of what they're doing and are likely very entrepreneurially minded, and here they are not following the rules, but also probably going to have a whole lot of resistance through this.
Yeah, well, and I'm thinking when you're talking about that, about why we build our muscles anyway. What is the purpose we build our muscles? I remember Oprah saying, I asked God for patience and he didn't give me patience. He gave me lots of opportunities to build my patience muscles. So right now we've been building these muscles to get us to this place, and now we have a chance to use them. And so everything's theory until it's put into practice.
Yeah.
And that's why, going back to what we said earlier about the squeeze of the orange, I mean, what's inside will come out, and it is what it is. You're mentioning money, Ashley. I mean, people who have a lot of money, I've heard lately, are as scared as people who have zero money, because it's all about fear of losing it. And the only people who talk a lot about money are people who have a ton or don't have any.
Did anybody here, I'd like to see a raise of hands, did anybody watch the Lab Coat Agents with Mo yesterday? It was at the same time our interview with Mark was. I went back and watched it, and even she said, I own 3 market centers in a region, and I'm looking at the finances there and thinking, what am I going to have to infuse to keep them going? And then she said, and I'm an owner at Keller Williams International, and the cash call there is not going to be thousands, it's going to be millions. And I went, oh, yeah, we're having a lot of the same thoughts. Mine are just,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So Lisa, please unmute yourself.
Hi, Jodee. Hi, everybody. So Jodee, we don't really know each other, but I do.
Oh, but we do. But we do.
I do follow you on Facebook, and I was so pleased to see that you were joining this today, because I knew it was gonna bring things of value. So my situation is that I actually do really well in crisis, but for probably 12 years now, I have been on a hamster wheel where I'm just do, go. And, you know, and then COVID hit. And honestly, at the beginning, from the very beginning, like I knew that out on the other side of this, I needed to take time to pause and to do the introspection and all of that I don't ever do, because I'm taking care of everybody else and everything else. And I just, especially when it's crisis time or whatever, that's when I am in full action. And so between the personal and the professional during COVID so far, I have yet to be able to take that opportunity for me. And I was actually going to start asking about like books or whatever. Robert, I love that you said that you had a spiritual advisor, because, you know, I live alone and I do all of this on my own. And I'm really feeling like maybe a spiritual advisor or something. I don't know. I need some advice on, and maybe this will help other people that are in a similar situation, of how to, because I haven't had time for pause yet. And then I know it's not just reading one book. It's something much deeper, and a chance to really get some reflection and kind of dig deep. And
I'll let Jodee advise you on that. I'm going to say though, you haven't taken the time. You have the time. You haven't made it a priority. Now, the world on the outside has slowed down enough, a lot slower than it was a month ago, to give you the opportunity to say, okay, this is important, and I am going to choose to spend some of this time. None of it, it's not going to happen unless you make it a priority, even though we have all the time in the world right now. It's astonishing to me to see the Facebook posts of people going through Tiger King or what. I mean, you could choose to do a whole lot of other things other than go internal. So I would say first, even in this craziness, you got to have a calendar and protect that time in your calendar. And then Jodee can tell you what to do in that time.
Well, I mean, you guys all know, you know how to do this. You know how to do time blocking and all that kind of stuff. And I've taught that. And you matter, Lisa. You matter more than anybody right now. You matter more than any of your clients. Everybody else comes second right now. Everybody. And unless you are willing to step into that, you're going to always be at somebody else's beck and call. And when it comes down to the end of time, I'm the only person that I'm never going to leave or lose. And if I'm not taking that time for me, And I'm the same way, Lisa. I don't have a family. I don't have anything. So this is all on me. And I am learning through a lot of channels that this is the best time for me to just reflect, all the things that Mark said yesterday about meditating and all those things where I'm like, yeah, I'm bad at that. I'm bad at meditating. No, you're not, Jodee. Just call it something else. So call it being quiet then. And in that time for me, I can't even explain to you what happens when I allow myself to journal. And when I do Facebook Lives and when I do all that, it's going to sound really weird, but I can say it to you guys, you California people, it's like channeled. It's like me listening to me say things and then coming back and listening to what I said. So there's a me and there's a me and a myself. And Lisa, I think when you get to the me and myself, there are two people in that, or two entities in that. And I have to decide which one is me and which one is my higher self. And when I allow myself to be in observation mode about myself, I go, wow, the person who looks a lot like me wearing pink today is running pretty fast and ragged. If I were the me, I would say, slow down, breathe.
And I just want to show you, I'm not kidding about the schedule. I have my daily to-dos. That is my, I'll call it spiritual practice, but it's a self-care practice. Mm-hmm. Read 30 minutes a day, walk an hour, write for an hour, meditate for 20 minutes. That's my to-do list. And I have to do all the other business stuff too.
Well, and you choose it, Ashley, though. I mean, it's a choice, right? I mean,
that was my point. It's a conscious choice. It's not just going to happen.
Right.
I mean, I need to put the time in the calendar and then follow the calendar.
There are a couple of things that are occurring to me in this time that I probably have heard, and I probably heard you say, and I know stuff in my head, but until they get from my head to my heart to my gut, they don't matter, because everything's just theory in my head. All these books I've thought I needed to read because I thought I needed proof that I was valuable to somebody. You've been telling me that for years, Ashley. And I remember going to see Oprah, my idol, Oprah. And I'm at Oprah by myself. I went to Houston by myself because I needed to see Oprah. I ran into Diana Kokoska in line, by the way, which was kind of cool. But I'm texting Ashley and I'm like, Ashley, look at it. She's like, stop it. Stop it. You be present in the moment. Because I wanted to share it with somebody. I was there by myself. And in that moment, 2000, whatever that was, Ashley, 2012, I think it was, I went, wow, I matter. I matter enough to spend time by myself enjoying Oprah. And since then, and it just continues to get a little bit deeper and broader for me, I matter. I matter. And who I'm being in this weird space matters more than what I'm doing, especially right now, because I can't do more. And so filling it back up, Lisa, I think, and don't, like Gary Keller would tell us, don't time block every single day of your calendar. That's crazy. Just do the things time block the things that you promise you will do. And if you start small with yourself and say, I'll give myself, 15 minutes. And if that feels like too much, then make it 10, make it 5.
Something just occurred to me, and it's feeling in here, so it needs to come out.
Yeah.
We have so many good-hearted, service-minded people in our market center, in the company, but really in our market center. We are so blessed with who we have. And often when we are service-minded, we're other-focused, and we are great at taking care of absolutely everybody else. And then the world slows down to say, hey, time to take care of you, and you don't know where to start.
Right.
And it's a little scary because, oh gosh, it's much easier for me to react to taking care of this out here instead of sometimes taking that tough look and at the damaged parts inside that I haven't taken the time to repair or ever look at.
Well, one of my friends said, but Jodee, I can't because I'm a people pleaser. At least he could say that. I'm a people pleaser. And I'm like, okay, David, you're a people pleaser. Here's the aha brilliance in that. You're a people. You're a people, David. You are a people. And if you're going to be a people pleaser, then please you as well. I'm not even going to say first, but put yourself in that place that you're pleasing other people too. So Lisa,
well,
I don't mean to
but
you up, and I don't mean to sound that.
What's that?
Does it feel like we're beating you up? I don't mean to beat you
No,
up.
no. I just, honestly, it's like Ashley said, like, I just don't know. I really don't know where to start because I feel, yes, you can take little baby steps, or I can start journaling, or I can read one book, but I feel like this is a bigger transformation that is, I mean, I get really emotional when I talk about it, because I know that this time is a time that is meant to be transformational for me. And I think maybe I need a coach or a spiritual guide, or somebody who can just, give me the tools and just be a coach or an advisor. I think that would be an investment that would be, just something that I should really invest in.
So what if you just made that a project? Now, Lisa, made that a project. Talk to Robert about his spiritual advisor. See if that's somebody that would work for you. I mean, I do this. Other people do this. Landmark Education was my transformational pivotal point in 2003. And when I did that, I met people who were in that space. You'll find the space and you'll be able to discern, and you'll be able to go, okay, wait, I have to get this through my head, my intellect, my heart, my intuition, and my gut, my instinct. And I call that lining up the eyes. And in discernment, you can make much better decisions than if they're snap decisions because Robert said so, or because Ashley said so, or because Jodee said so. And so this place for you right now is line up the eyes, intellect, intuition, which is connection to God for me, higher intelligence, and instinct, which is where fight, flight, freeze exists. But I just learned that it's also where connection exists. The need for connection comes from your instinct, your gut. So you're going to find those like-minded, like-hearted people in your space, and you're going to be able to discern whether a Robert's person is the right person, whether, whoever's person is the right person, and allow yourself that space to sift it through. And now it sounds like a really good time to do that, Lisa. And I'm so grateful that you're saying, I'm ready.
Well, it was actually on my vision board for this year, the word tribe, because I am I do everything on my own, and that and Ashley, thank you for having this group and doing this every day, because I felt like that this is kind of becoming my tribe during this time. So that was a part of it, but yeah, I it's getting connected.
You're Lisa, this is perfect. And it's icky right now because we're in the messy middle, you guys. It's like being in the cocoon, right? You start out as a caterpillar. Life is great as a caterpillar. Who said we couldn't just be great caterpillars? But then something happens. COVID, we get into this cocoon and it's messy and gross. And I don't even remember what it's called, like chrysalis and whatever. And then if you open up the chrysalis in the middle, it's no, you'll kill it. So you gotta wait for this yuck, because the butterfly is like, oh my God, did I ever think it was okay to be a caterpillar? I had no idea it could be this. Oh my goodness. And that's where we are right now, you guys. So you don't open the oven when you put the cake in and go, how you doing, cake? You like let it bake because you want the cake. And so Lisa, she just left, but thanks. Thank you, Lisa, for being brave. That was cool. Awesome. And Brian, you said you wanted to speak. You're frozen, Brian.
Hi.
You're still frozen. Now you're muted. Can we unmute him? Can someone unmute him?
See what I can do.
Right.
No, I don't have the capability.
Does that work?
There you go.
Thank you. Dude, I'm a total Zoom master. I am so glad that we have this call. I just want to share this because I just want to put it out there. The 2019 was a very difficult year for me, very horrifically difficult. A lot of that out of my control, which I still can't accept. I'm still having trouble accepting it. The majority of that was because of early onset Parkinson's. I still can't accept it. I'm still having trouble unpacking it. If I didn't have Ashley and some other key people, I probably wouldn't be sitting here right now.
It's okay, Brian. You're great. Keep going.
So anyways, 2019 was horrible, and that's okay. I really, it was the catalyst to stop and be like, I thought I was one person or one way, and like my insides or whatever weren't matching my outsides. Not at all. Or my outsides were matching my insides, and like I was hurting more than I knew. I was in the darkest, deepest hole more than I could ever admit. I'm blessed with the most perfect husband, but it was a hellacious year. I don't even know who I was. I got everything put back together. I listened to doctors. It's October. Went to had a huge recharge because for me that's a big deal. Got home, was pumped up, and then COVID happened. And I felt like everything that I've been working on to make me a better person, to do all the stuff that I want to be able to do. And anyways, I'm scared. I feel trapped here, and I don't want to be in assisted living 5 years from now. And if I just stop doing what I'm doing, that's probably going to happen. The exercising, the boxing, it's like, I just can't get clarity. It's so weird.
So,
Anyway.
Brian, what I'm hearing in that is, I do a lot with Think and Grow Rich. And one of the chapters in Think and Grow Rich is faith. And it's kind of like building your muscles. Like I said earlier, you only build your muscles for the time you can use them. So right now, Brian, it's to lean on the people that are closest to you in your life and to be able to say exactly what you just said so that those people can say, I'm here for you, Brian. Look in the chat right now. We love you, Brian. We love you, Brian. This is family. I'm eternally grateful for all of you. We love you, Brian. Brian, look at how much support you're getting right there. I'm getting teary just watching that because you guys, not everybody has what you have in your market center. Can I just tell you that from the outside? You're in it. You don't see it. You guys are so amazing. And Brian, it sucks. Let's just call it what it is. It sucks right now. It sucks not be able to be with your people. I have to see my mom through a window, right? It sucks. Yet, you guys, who are we becoming in the oven or in the chrysalis or in the, and we can do this when we lean on each other, when we need each other. And Ashley, you've done that for me so many times. And you just,
Likewise.
yeah, you find the people, you find your people, your tribe, Lisa, this is what you're building right now. And look where we are. I think Rebecca's on here. You're not in California. So I don't think everybody's in California who's on this.
Oh no, there's friends from all over.
So it's not I want to be physically close to people too. I'm an extrovert. This is hard. Yet I have met so many people that I can share my heart with, even if I can't share a hug, because it just feels like we're in this place right now where what else are we going to do? We're going to build the who behind the do, right? The do.
One of the things, Jodee, I know we all have had Zoom exhaustion at one time or another.
Yes.
And yet I can say this 100% true. In the last month of being at home, I have not had one superficial conversation.
Yeah. Right.
Every time we get on a Zoom, it's so much more intentional and so much more connected, and exhausting. I don't know that I've been this tired in my life either. Yet what a blessing. There's everybody that I know that's on here, all the names I'm saying, I know you don't like superficial conversation. And yet as realtors, sometimes that's an entire week. And so we really get a chance to be so real and so open. That's a pretty cool experience. There are certain things I hope we take past this time, and that's one of them.
Oh, yes, that's such a great reminder, Ashley. You guys do not waste this pandemic. Please do not waste this pandemic. Because if you come out on the other side of this and go back to normal, you've wasted everything that this is here to teach us. I've done Facebook Lives. Like I said, I'm listening back to some of them because I'm like, well, where'd that come from? Probably from Ashley, probably from the however many years I've been doing
all of it. It's good.
So this book talks about normal. Orbiting the Giant Hairball talks about what normal is, and there's no such thing. Yes, normal is overrated. Yes. And who cut the onions? You guys are so great. I love you. Normal is a setting on your dryer, right? That's what people say. There's no normal. There's nothing normal about this. I tried my whole life to be normal, to fit into somebody else's box. And it ripped off the world for what I can bring to the world. And I only learned that from having Ashley with me every Friday, because there aren't tons of people in the world that are ready for a whole lot of Jodee, right? I mean, this is more than what a lot of people can handle. I got let go from Keller Williams because my OP said, I'm going to free you up to do what you really want to do. We aren't ready for what you want to do here. And I'm like, what are you talking about? There's so much we can do here. And they said they were freeing me up to go do what I wanted to do. And I got released from my family. You guys, I found you guys. And then here we are. Go do your own
There's some
thing.
new language I need to teach you for situations like that.
Yeah, I know. And yet.
North Dakota nice may not cut it.
Right. Well, and that's what I'm learning. And I think you're going to see that, Ashley, coming out the other side of this, because I can't stay silent anymore. I just can't. There's this poster on my wall right here, which you probably can't see, but it says, do what you love in the service of people who love what you do. And it's one of my mentors, Steve Farber, who lives in San Diego, right in San Diego right now. He used to live in Poway. And I am so blessed to be in that tribe of extreme leaders. So he's written books, 3 books. Actually 4 books. The first one was called The Radical Leap. The second one is The Radical Edge. The third one is Greater Than Yourself. And the fourth one is Love is Just Damn Good Business.
Love that.
And if you're ready to step into that space, I've been going for 3 years to his family reunions, if you will. And I tell you, man, that's my tribe, because we're going to talk about love. And if you don't want to talk about love, then you're not in my tribe, and that's okay. We're ready for heart-centered, wholehearted leadership, and I'm going to lead it. I'm going to lead the way, but I don't have the answers. I'm just holding the flashlight.
Awesome.
And we're going to be in it together, and we're going to figure it out. And oh, Ash, I can't tell you how excited I am for you and you guys who are all here, who show up at 1 o'clock, or 1 o'clock my time, 11 o'clock your time, to be part of this tribe. And the people you're bringing on, Ashley, I hope you guys know how amazing this is. I hope you don't take this for granted. Nikki, thank you for that.
They don't. Look who's here. I mean, really, I'm blessed. I've actually been surprised. I'll say this on this one, at how few people have been participating. And I came to peace with that last night. I went, the people who are supposed to be here are here.
Yeah.
That's
And Bronigal. Oh my gosh, how cool. So when I talked about being from California to Connecticut, Anne was the one I went to see at their house in Connecticut. Oh my gosh, so good to see you. I just looked to see who's all here. I know some of you people, and I've not forgotten you, even though I've been gone from your family for a while. This is so awesome.
Mindy, I'll be stuck with you anywhere, honey.
Aww.
All right, any last comments or questions?
Originally from Nebraska. Diana, yay, you're in my area. Saving your backside. This is the best hour of your day. Oh, you guys, this is so awesome. Please find me. Please keep me in your family, because I'm in the middle of the country. I have 700,000 people in my whole state, you guys. And I have a humongous state. So you got to think about the percentages of people who, if you know, like 2% of the population are the innovators. That's a small number when it's only 700,000 people in the whole state. So Rebecca, where are you right now? Are you in Minnesota? No. Okay, so
I had to unmute. Yeah, I'm in Minneapolis right now, hunker down.
Okay, so she's in Minneapolis, and I know her because she's from my hood. But
I don't think we actually met because of Fargo, did we?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't know. It was serendipitous, the fact that I connected with you and Ashley the way that we did. So it's really, really a joy to see you guys doing this. And I love that you guys are talking about this.
Okay, so Rebecca, as you're talking about that, Robert, I'm not going to hate you for that comment. But
what?
He wrote, do we really need 2 Dakotas? Hey, we call ourselves the Greater Dakota. Just FYI. Carson Wentz, if you're a football fan, is from the Greater Dakota. And his wide receiver, Dallas Goedert, is from South Dakota, so he calls that the Lower Dakota. So we need them both.
Well, I just figured since I have family in North Dakota, I can get away with saying that.
We adopt you, Mindy. Oh, thank you. To California. Ashley, I love you so much. And
love you too. Love you too. Stay warm. Thank you.
I will. Thank you guys. I love you all. And
yeah, thank you.
there's anything I can do, please find me on Facebook. I'm there every day.
You should read. She posts every single morning, and it's always something that will help your own internal journey. So
Well,
I
it's
would encourage.
for me. So it's my attempt at meditation, if you will, in the morning. And then I say, what do I need to know for me? And then I post it. And then people say, are you in my head? No, because it's collective consciousness. We're all kind of together in this. So please, I'll do whatever I can. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Jodee.
See you all tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
I got to say, bye. Ash, I'll call you later.
Thank you
Okay.
guys.